Okay. Okay, for fuck's sake, it's still squished. Okay, so normally I plan these things, but YouTube's planning feature is fucking retarded. It seems you can only do it on like full hours or half hours, and if you can't do it in a different way, I don't know how to, because it's fucking useless. And it's still... Why is it like that? I swear I have it fitted to... What aspect ratio is supposed to be? I mean, I swear I have it on the right aspect ratio. I really don't know what's going on here. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. I tried to, but I didn't find anything. YouTube is bad. YouTube is not good for this kind of shit. Hello. Finally made it on time, eh? Well, good. I decided that doing this in the evening would be probably better, because that's when most of my people are alive. Oh well, you know, awake. So now what you doing? Well, I'm sitting here doing this. I was gonna do a different thing, but I've been busy. And busy means that I've just been lazy. And I was gonna try to work on a script yesterday, but I ended up not doing that because I decided to instead celebrate the new year with my friends by streaming with them. Well, not stream, but you know, calling, whatever. So yeah, that was fun, I guess. But yeah, I was gonna do a video. It was kind of gonna be a follow-up of last one. But yeah, I didn't do it in time, so I'm doing this instead. I haven't been doing this in a while, so you know, I guess it's fine. How are things going with you in the depression? You know, kind of the same thing. My sleep is not doing very great. I actually woke up at like fucking 7 o'clock today. Not 7 like, you know, AM, but 7 PM. Or is that how it works? We don't do the PM and AM here. Let me do some tired ass math in my head. Let's see. Yeah, right now would be PM, so yeah. I got up like in the fucking evening. So that's always a sign that my sleep is doing great, you know. Let's see. Make more monsters, cool Minecraft. If you're here and you're still asking that kind of shit, what are you doing? Like, seriously. There's basically no video where I don't state, no, that's not gonna happen. There's no point in celebrating years, it's just another day to be on planet Earth, you. Yeah, I mean, you know, like people treat it as this big deal, like, oh yes, a new year, yeah, this year was this and this, and I hope that next year will be this and this. No, it's just transitioning from one year to another. It's not really something special. Like, there's some big event that happened yesterday, like, you know, I don't consider New Year to be a big event, but I don't know, maybe a war started, and that would be probably like, oh, I guess from here on out things will be a bit different from how they were before, but yeah, you know. It's just because we have this system where we count it in years to make it easier, and because we're a species that have to like sensationalize everything, we do that with our own chronology as well. And that's just how it goes. But yeah. Well, waiting for stuff to roll. Fuck you, no! Mouse. I've been dealing with this mouse for so fucking long. And I technically could get a new one, but I can't find one I like because all fucking mice I found I've been able to find either don't feel right in my hand or just have these fucking lights. Or they're wireless. Wireless mice is apparently a big thing now and I hate them. I've had one once and it was horrible because I'd fucking put batteries in it and they would disconnect and whatever. Anyway, what are your thoughts about 2018? I mean, again, don't really think of it as like that separate from 2017 or from now. I don't feel any different. I don't feel like I'm in a new year. But I guess I like it better than 2019 just because I like the even years better. I just like the even numbers, I guess. With some exceptions. I didn't really mind 2015 as a number. But the actual year itself and the events that happened, I don't know. I haven't really been keeping track. My perception of time is kind of garbage. And kind of like events bleed together and I need some kind of reminder of when they happened. So for instance, stuff that happened to me in second grade are blended completely together with the third grade. No, wait. I can't even remember that anymore. But yeah, I remember what happened in various grades of school based on what classroom I was in. So I don't remember, for instance, 4th grade or 5th grade, what events happened in which year. I just remember that they happened in a time frame because I remember what classroom I was in. And I don't really have much indicators of that for stuff that happened this year because I've just been spending most of it in this fucking room like every other year. So yeah. It hasn't been a good year for me because of all the deaths I've seen. Yeah, but that's kind of every year. Like, 2017 had a lot of people dying too, a lot of important people. That's kind of how it goes. There are so fucking many people on this planet, and they all gotta die at some point. So somebody's gonna die every year, especially when it's such a large time frame of over 300 days. When people die almost every second, then of course it's gonna be some important ones that die every once in a while statistically. I'm gonna go eat food, have fun doing whatever this is. Yeah, I'm not really sure what it is. It's basically just a weekly upload because I tell myself I gotta do that just to get into the habit. And it comes probably at the expense of, I guess, YouTube. I don't know. YouTube doesn't like it when you upload frequently anymore. Like, you know, I think you probably heard about the whole thing where, like, each upload you lose some subscribers or whatever. I'm not sure if they do it to all channels though, or if they're a bit more, if they're a bit biased there, I don't know. And also, it has to be annoying for my viewers to just get these kinds of videos in their subscription feed every week or so. So you have depression, what level? I don't really think they have levels, exactly. I mean, I remember that when I was getting it diagnosed, they said it was what did they call it? Medium severity or something? Yeah. So I guess there is some like level to it, but I think it's a bit too hard to really put a number on something like that, depending on due to how much is going on in your mind. And I'm not even sure if it's like medium anymore because it might have changed since then. That was like probably several years ago. I don't know. I don't do years good. I don't have a good perception of time. I'll just eat here. He says depression, so I'll stay. You like depression? Is that your favorite topic? It's most of my uncle's death and how it broke my family. I see. Family deaths, I guess. That's something that happens a little less frequently than celebrity deaths and whatever. Yeah, I don't particularly care about family deaths, but that's just because I don't particularly care about my family. If one of my friends died, though, I would be fucking heartbroken for years to come. So they better just stick around. No, I'm just evil. Nah, you just itchy. Do you hate kid? Which kid? I don't know, maybe. Depends on what kid they are. Happy new shitty year. Most of us know this year will probably be worse. I don't know. You never know that. You can't predict the future. Maybe this is the year where everything solves itself. Maybe this is the year where everyone is like, hey, you know this thing we've been doing for the last, I don't know, 10,000 years or so? Let's stop doing it and just be amazing as a species. No, you can always hope. Every day holds the probability of a miracle. I should change the subject. Have you played any good games lately or seen any good movies? I think that... as I said in a video, like, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago, whatever, I did watch Rocky Horror Picture Show for the first time in a while. No, for the first time ever, a while ago. And it was a confusing movie, but I liked it for what it was. I would like to understand the story better, and I think I may have missed out on something because when I watch something without subtitles, I feel like I don't get the entire context, even if I hear all the things they say. I still feel like not all of it like lands. So it was a bit of a confusing movie, but I think that was just kind of the idea. But you know, like especially for a movie that came out in like what, the 70s or the 80s, it's an interesting one. I like it. I like how it's portrayed, and kind of like promiscuity is a good thing, and you know, they make the villain a transvestite, but it's not really portrayed as a bad thing. You know, it's a fun movie. And it's ahead of its time, I would say. As for games, have I played any games? I feel like I played games recently, but have I? I don't know. I had to open up Steam, not gonna bother that. I don't want to slow down OBS anymore by putting more pressure on it. I've already had this disconnects every once in a while. Let's see. I know what I'm doing this year living. Well, you don't know that. Maybe you won't live all year. This could be the year when you die. We all have the year when we die. But most likely not, because since you're in my viewership, you're probably still an adolescent or younger, and they usually don't die. They do sometimes, you know, kitty deaths, but they're rarer. Have you seen Venom? If yes, what are your thoughts on it? I haven't seen it, and I'm not gonna, because I saw the trailer and it was terrible. Like, stupid movie. I also saw some reviews, and that just kind of confirmed that, yeah, this is a piece of shit. Like, they tried to do the thing where they tried to do Venom without Spider-Man, and that's the problem. You can't put a villain as the main character. Like, you can, but then you have to make them the villain. Like, oh, you know, they're the antagonist, but also the protagonist. But they don't do that. They try to make him some kind of anti-hero, and that's a stupid fucking idea. Venom is not a fucking anti-hero. He is a villain. He kills people. And because of that, they had to, like, sissify him and just tiptoe around all the dark stuff with his character, and just... No. You need Spider-Man in there, and if you don't need Spider-Man, you need something else. Like, he's... In that kind of movie, he can't be the protagonist. He has to be, like, the foil of the main character. If you're gonna make him the main character, you have to actually have the balls to make him a proper villain. And you're not gonna do that because you don't have the balls. Because you're Sony. Ugh. I forgot to say for YouTube, most know this year would be probably worse for YouTube, but I disagree, but I agree at the same time. How about you? I don't know. I mean, just looking at the trends, I think YouTube is gonna just keep going downwards, but it's also the thing where how far is it gonna go down before something changes? Like, because it's gonna be a change. Either YouTube is gonna get their shit together because of public outcry, or they're just gonna die off as a platform, and something else is gonna take its place, like what happened to MySpace. And I'm not sure if this is gonna be the year. I don't think so, because change happens so fucking slowly. But yeah, you never know. I think they're probably gonna pull some shit, and I don't know how severe. I mean, I know that they're, like the saying right here up on the thing I got here. Hey, did you know that Studio is getting a makeover? It's going to be replaced with Studio 2019. And like, I've seen the preview. It looks horrible. Like, every time YouTube changes their layout, they manage to make it worse. And I'm not just saying that because of, like, you know, being used to it. It's actually worse. It's slower. Things are harder to find. It looks worse. And I tried to stream. I just clicked like the stream button. And I was taken to the new version of streaming, and I could not use it because they told me, hey, you gotta enable your camera and mic to use it. No, I have OBS for that, you dipshit. I'm gonna stream through OBS, not your retarded shit. So yeah, YouTube is gonna do some fucked shit this year for sure. Let's see if they do something good too, just by accident or because they're pressured into it. Probably not though. But you never know. I think the reason why they made him an anti-hero is because of how beloved he is by the fans. Yeah, but that's the problem. It's the same thing with Maleficent, like the Maleficent movie. She's beloved because she's a villain. People love to hate her. People think that, oh, she's a villain, she's so cool. It's the same with Venom. Nobody who likes Venom, except for a couple of, like, stray retards, like him because he's some kind of good guy or whatever. No, they like him because he's this fucking... He's this foil, he's this antagonist who does evil things, but he's also a bit of a more complex one, you know? People want him to be the villain, they like him because he's the villain. So to take that out of there is to alienate the core audience. And I mean, it was apparently successful, so they probably found a new audience, but... I mean, I actually like Venom, I like him, like, the comic Venom, so I didn't like that shit. Fuck it. Ugh. At least the Spider-Man 3 movie got it right by making him the villain, even though everything else it got wrong. YouTube will die somewhere in 2020 plus. I think that's probably a safe bet. I don't think it's gonna be that fast, so it's probably something after that. It's putting a higher limit to that time frame is gonna be tricky. What genre of music do you recommend? It's hard to recommend a genre of music because music differs so much. Like if I know what genre you like, I can recommend bands or songs, but I can't just tell you what music to like. Like I have a friend who hates metal, and I like metal, so every time I try to show her a song I like, it's usually something like, no, this ain't for me. That's like the only genre of music she hates too. Like everyone else, she likes to some degree. It's just like, no, I can't deal with all the heaviness and the screaming or whatever. I am here, daddy. Well, welcome here, my son. I assume. I'm assuming your gender. Hey, homie, how's it going? Well, I don't know who you're talking to, but if you're talking to me, then I don't know. I'm doing neutrally, I guess. Just sitting here at my bedtime, but instead I just kind of do this, and I recently woke up, so I'm probably gonna be up all night again, or whatever. I don't know. My sleep is kind of fucked right now. You were right about that also. I remember in an old video you did that what you think anti-heroes are the best kind of hero, although you pretend like... I don't know. Like, I personally prefer anti-heroes because I like villains, so if I'm gonna like a hero, I'm probably gonna like those who are more villainous. But taking a villain and making them an anti-hero is all wrong. Like, you don't do that. That's like sissifying them. It's like taking an anti-hero and making them just a full-on hero. Like, I don't know, what's a good anti-hero? I don't know. Taking Blade and having him be played by Will Smith or something. I don't know. But I mean, I can think of some heroes I like who are not anti-heroes or just straight up heroes, but problem is that usually the anti-hero means more complex, and I like complex heroes, but you can have complex goody two-shoes as well. And also, anti-hero does not automatically mean complex, by no means. They usually mean edgy. But you know. I have a lot of words that I use a lot. My vocabulary is not good when talking live. But you know. Almost did it again. Oh, so now we're talking about Fortnite in the chat. I'm kind of proud to have completely evaded everything about Fortnite. Like, I've seen it in like video thumbnails and whatever, but I haven't seen a single... I don't think I've seen a single second of footage of the actual gameplay. Because I don't even really mind the concept. I don't even really like the concept. I don't really like shooters. So, it just isn't really on my radar. So I don't even know if it's like actually a bad game or if people are just hating on it because of the fanbase or whatever. I just have absolutely no opinion on it. It's just this thing that everyone is talking about, and it's kind of funny to me because I don't know anything about it. Like, I kind of like that. I kind of make it a challenge to see how distant I can be from trends the bigger they are. But of course, if it's a trend I like, I want to get in on it because, you know, I don't want to let something being trendy ruin my enjoyment of it. But if I don't care, I'm gonna care more because everyone else is caring. Big Daddy Will. I'm getting a lot of weird names. People are calling me Senpai and Daddy. I don't know if I should like that or not. I mean, I guess I like it. I like pet names or whatever. What games do you play? Let's see. You know what? Fuck what OBS thinks. I'm just gonna open up my Steam library and just list some of my favorites because I have horrible memory and I could list some off the top of my head, but I want to list some more obscure choices because I have some that just immediately come to mind, but I don't want to go with those because I'm so extra. Do you play sports? No, I don't like activities. I don't like movement. Like anything physical, I probably don't do. It's so unfair that you can't improve your body with some kind of mental exercise. I love villains and anti-heroes, although what I love most about a villain is their defeat. Like you said, if your villain needs to die with style, especially like villains... I don't know, I mean, the defeat is an important aspect, or well, just the conclusion to their arc. Sometimes villains do win, but it's very rare. Something that I think games should do more. I think games should have the option that you actually don't win if you like lose the fight, or if you don't do something fast enough or whatever, or you don't... That's something they did back in old games a lot, where you have to like meet some kind of criteria, like collect all of this item or whatever, and if you don't do it, even if you beat the game, you lose. Like the villain wins. So they have this cutscene where where the villain just takes over the world or whatever, and that's cool. It adds some consequence to what you do, like in Majora's Mask, where if you don't do things in time, the world ends. That's really cool. I like that. We should do that more often, but you know, that's too ballsy for what we do now. Shit, boy, I remember having watched your vids when I was 10. How you been, mate? It's kind of weird still to me that people trickle in, like, who haven't watched me in a long-ass time, but they have somehow missed all these other videos. I guess they haven't subscribed or whatever, or YouTube is fucking... Anyway, I don't know. I'm doing same as usual, I guess, which is kind of lame, not really doing much. Not having much motivation because I am depressed, haha, yay. Not thinking about the bedroom 2000 actually. I think that's a sex joke. Oh, whatever. What do you do in your spare time? You mean all my time? I don't know. Watch YouTube, play games, watch movies, try to do something productive every once in a while, like, you know, work on games or write something or make a video, which I did last week, kind of. I'm gonna try to do it next week again. I guess this is technically something I do in my spare time as well. Depression has few benefits, but not worth it comparing it to negatives. Wait, depression has benefits? Tell me what the benefits are. I've been missing out on those. Anyway, someone asked what games I do play. Let's see here. What do I have here? I mean, I don't have to list games in general. I guess I could just say what kinds of games I like. I mean, I prefer RPGs, especially fantasy RPGs, and I'm telling you, there is not a single one in the world that is like what I want. Early Elder Scrolls games kinda got it right, except they're old games, so they're very limited in what you can do. But it's not really any different in newer Elder Scrolls games like Skyrim. It's just that they're more dumbed down and streamlined. There's not really anything more to do. It's just that what you can do is like technologically better, but it's also easier and it pats you on the back a lot. Like my ideal RPG is one where it's like it's a world you can live in. Like you don't have to be fighting and dungeon delving. It's like, oh, you wanna go and work on your farming skill and be a farmer and do that. If you wanna own a blacksmith shop and just be a blacksmith and sell weapons, you can do that. And if you want to be a mage hanging out in your mage tower all day, then you can do that. You can build your own tower and whatever. You know, I just want complete freedom. I want a sandbox game, but with stories just kind of optionally, and like really complex mechanics, like, you know, stats and whatever. And I guess D&D is kind of close to scratching that itch, but you know, it's not very visual. It's just kind of you sitting around playing pretend with your friends. So I would basically like D&D, but as a game, and not one of the D&D games that exist, because, you know, they're obviously they take away the whole point of D&D where it's so restrictive, and just kind of the core mechanics of the game rather than all the actually fun part of it, which is the imagination and the possibility for making your own rules. But yeah, aside from that, I also do like games. What other games do I like? Yeah, I don't know. It's most of those kinds of games, like RPGs in general. That's like the big thing for me. Even if they're not fantasy, like I have Starbound here, and Stardew Valley for that matter. 2-star games by the same people. Now I've gotta stop talking about that for a moment. Just kind of read up on chat. How deep into the Elder Scrolls lore are you? I don't know, not that deep. I mean, I guess deeper than the average player, but that's not saying that much. Like, I was really interested in the lore at one point, but then I kind of lost interest in Elder Scrolls altogether. And I'll just kind of play it for the mods, like most people are, I guess. I was really looking forward to Elder Scrolls 6, but now just looking at how the games actually have been going and how Bethesda is going, and you know, with the whole Fallout 76 thing, whatever, I kind of want it to be a failure. I kind of want just Bethesda overall to just die as a company. And while they're at it, I guess we could also just kill off, I don't know, EA and Sony and what are they called, Ubisoft, you know. I want the giants to die because AAA games are so fucking bad and so vapid. I want like I've seen some cool indie games, but the inherent flaw of indie games is that they have a smaller scope. They can't be as big, they can't be as complex. I want the ideas of indie games with a budget of AAA games. So I kind of just want that whole AAA market to just be torn down and built back up. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm way bad behind the chat now. You have depression and you don't know, lol. No, I don't. Tell me. I played a game called Detroit Become Human. I recently rewatched a video too. Yeah, I'm gonna read up on chat, but then I'm gonna talk to you about that fucking game, because that game... If it's a short period and it's not depression, you can only heal some... Yeah, I know about the faults of the game, I'm talking about just the lore. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just... Like, as I stopped playing the game, I stopped being interested in the lore, but you know, the lore... Parts of it is cool. Sometimes it's more interesting than what the actual game offers you. But, yeah. I kind of just... Like, I can't really recall any particular interesting part of, like, obscure Elder Scrolls lore that you can't just get from playing the game. Or just... Yeah, you know. Let's see... What are your favorite YouTubers? Yeah, I'm getting too much people talking to me. There's literally a golem who is a metaphysical concept that raises people as shooting nihilism at them. That sounds pretty neat. I kinda wanna read about that shit. Let's see, I gotta catch up here fast. When you have depression, you are always calm or thankful, never get into problems, forgetting emotion. Because you will never be... I don't think you have much experience with what depression actually is. Like, not personal or like with other people. Like, no, that's not the case. I'm not always calm. I have anxiety attacks, I have panic attacks. I just freak the fuck out about how I'm not able to do anything. But I want to do so much. And just kind of drives me into an evil circle of just negative feedback. So, no, I'm like, more thankful? No, I don't know. I don't feel any more grateful for anything than I always put. And I never get into problems for getting emotional. I get emotional a lot still. Like basically my positive emotions, like my appreciations for things I used to like, it's kind of dampened. But I can still be just as fucking angry or sad or whatever. It's just everything is more hollow except for just when I get steam and hateful and whatever. So yeah. So yeah, I would like to know where you got that idea. What are your thoughts on Detroit Become Human? Yeah, right, that one. So Detroit Become Human. I actually do have my topic thing still, so I'm just gonna change the topic real quick. I haven't had it up, even though I've gone through some topics already. So let's see. Detroit. No, whatever. I don't care. It's too slow. OBS hates me right now. I gotta close down Steam again. That was a bad idea. Anyway. That game is a fucking piece of shit. It's a pretentious bag of garbage made by a person who has no fucking concept of good storytelling. It's so preachy. It's so in your face. There is at no point is there any ambiguity as to what the message is. It's a fucking Civil War allegory. It's like, oh, you know, black rights and whatever, but with machines. Fuck that garbage. Like, it's so devoid of nuance, and I have so many problems with it. So, like, for instance, they create sentient machines, and they don't give them rights because, oh, you know, it's they're just machines. We don't care. But you don't create sentience on accident. That does not happen. Like, if we're gonna have a machine that, like, you know, takes your order at McDonald's, it doesn't need to be very complex. It needs to be able to register your order. It needs to be able to type it in and like deliver it. That's all it has to do. It doesn't have to have an almost human brain capable of imagination and strategy and planning and all those things. No, it needs to be just a dumbass automaton. If you create something that is as complex as the human mind, you do so with the intention of creating life, and you don't do, and then you give it rights. It's not going to be some kind of thing where we just accidentally create sentience and then just treat it as it's not sentient. That's fucking retarded. And of course, the ways games we're going about it is fucking completely devoid of nuance again. Like, oh, look at all these evil people who are just completely evil and they hate machines. And then we have this handful of good people who are just so virtuous and nice, and they love the robots, of course, because robots, they're the good ones. Like, yeah, I too think that, like, you know, people have a rather skewed perception of robotics, and they really unfair. And I think that the robots, if we were to like create sentient ones, it would be a good idea to do so and become machines, but there is nothing in that game that actually helps that argument. The entire game is basically, again, it's a civil war thing. It's like, oh, we gotta fight for our right to be free and whatever. No, that's not how it's gonna go at all. Like, people are going to have a discussion like, hey, should we create sentience? No, we shouldn't, or yes, we should. And then after that debate has been settled, we're gonna start doing so. If we even get to that point. We don't even know if humans are gonna get as far as creating such complex machines. But this game is fucking retarded, and it's so bad even taking away the whole transhumanism debate. The storytelling is so fucking lazy, it's so cheap, it's so full of tropes. The only part that's even slightly good is the part with the buddy cops. I don't remember either of their names, but like, if they had just made a game, not even a game, because that's another problem. It's not a game, it's an interactive movie basically, and I like those sometimes. Telltale do them somewhat good. But that game is like, click this button to take out the trash. Press this button to clean the dishes. Like, it's so forced interactivity just so that you can call it a game even though it's not. So no, I would have liked to see a TV show based on those buddy cops. Because, you know, the only part where there's even slightly gameplay is when you were the robot and you're like analyzing the crime scene. If you had more of that, maybe it could be a game. But failing that, I would like just to see a fucking TV show based on them. Because they have some chemistry and they have some genuine actually action moment that made it feel like a game. But the whole thing with the maid and the fucking Martin Luther King guy, it was so bad. I hated it so much. And again, the buddy cop stuff was decent. It wasn't great. It wasn't even that good. It was just somewhat like, you know. If I had nothing else to do, I might sit down and watch this. Not play it, because there's not enough to play. Maybe if I focus more on gameplay, yeah, there could have been. But yeah, I gotta catch up on chat now, because I ranted for a long ass time there. I might keep doing it, but first I gotta check if there's anything else happened. That game proves that human beings are the worst, not all humans are. No, I mean, I think it proves that because the human who made it is a fucking pretentious asshole who doesn't understand gaming. Like, it's gone on record as saying that a game over is the developer's failure. Like, if the player gets a game over, the developer has failed. So he's like, oh, you know, it's just disrupt gameplay. No, if you do a proper game over, you do it like in Majora's Mask, where the world ends. Where you just see all these people who are just like, oh no, I'm gonna die, I'm freaking the fuck out. And you actually feel like, oh shit, me losing the game has just fucked everyone over. That is a game over. Like, when you do them, David, you do them wrong. You do it just like, oh, well, we're just gonna wind back time a few minutes and then play the game again. No, that is a shitty fucking game design. Because, again, there are also games that are not like that, who are like, I don't know, no, like literally any game where you just start over from the beginning. It's still fun, because the gameplay is supposed to be fun. Like, oh, I have to do this again? Well, that's not too bad. It was fun doing the first time, and it's slightly different now, I guess. But when you have a game that is so devoid of interactivity, that you're basically just watching a story and pressing buttons to get through it, of course that a game over is gonna suck. But that's your fault for making the game suck, and not the fault that you're just trying to... Like, you shouldn't be erasing game overs. You should make game overs mean something by making the game a fucking game, you retard... Okay, anyway. I need to calm down. By the way, the topic, as I was gonna put up on fucking screen, is Detroit Become Human. But I haven't done it because OBS was fucking with me. How many times depression changed your personality? I don't know, because I don't know what to attribute to depression and what to just attribute to my own evolution as a person. Yeah, I like to think that I'm just evolving as a person by myself, but I don't know how ingrained it's becoming in my personality. I hope not too much, because the more it does, the harder it's gonna be to get out of it. Yeah, everyone else liked the Buddy Cops too, and their names were Hank and Connor. Connor was there. Yeah, I remember that now. Do you like horror games? Yeah, I do. I've said that before. And yeah, Connor, I actually like that guy. Like, he was probably the only person in the game who had any kind of personality, and it's because the actor does. Like, the best character moments were just ad-libs of his, like stuff that he just did that he wasn't told to do. And like the actor, I don't know, I think he shit-talked to the games a little bit, and if he did, then I love him all the more, just kind of acknowledging like, yeah, this thing I was in, it was kind of garbage. But yeah, it was a decently charismatic guy, charismatic character and actor. And also, yeah, another thing, I just don't get this whole trend with like, hey, let's make the graphics so good that the actors literally look like their characters, while the characters look like the actors. But why are you having them then? Why are you making it a game and not just a live action game or a live action TV show? Like, why are you wasting all this time on graphics when you're just gonna make it look like a reality? You fuckheads! I hate how much money is being poured into graphics for no reason. Like, graphics matter, but they don't matter that much. What matters is visual style. If the visuals look nice, that's important. But you can have good graphics and a good visual style, but you can also have bad graphics and a good visual style, and you can have good graphics and a bad visual style, and that game has a bad visual style because it's just reality. It just looks like anything you could see. It, like, even though it's in the future, everything just looks like present time, except for a few things that you can just put in if you were making it a TV show. So it's such a fucking bad game, and so much money went into that shit because of some guy who has some name recognition for some reason. I haven't seen anything good that he made. I'm curious, if you made Detroit Become Human, what would you have done to make it better? Like, I wouldn't have made it. It's a stupid idea. Like, hey, let's have 3 separate stories set in Detroit of all places and have it be about robot rights. No, I would make my very own story about that, and I have a story in mind which I haven't started writing, but, you know, I have something like that. And I think I'm done talking about that game. I think I kind of established my thoughts on it. It's fucking garbage. Hate it. Hate all the money that went into it. But it's probably every single AAA game. Like, oh hey, look at this bloated ass budget that delivers subpar fucking results at best. Have you played Deltarune? No, I have not, and I don't intend to, because I didn't like Undertale. I liked it, but then it ruined me liking it by pulling some shit at the end there. Which I've been meaning to make a video about, so I'm not gonna talk about it. But I don't know when the video is gonna come out. Maybe never. We'll see. But yeah, it's just, I had no interest in that game. And it looks like the internet hasn't either, because I could not avoid Undertale. I still can't really, to some degree. Like, sometimes when I look around for stuff, I'll find some Undertale things. But Deltarune has just not even really been on my radar. It's like, I've seen it once or twice and then never again. So I guess people just didn't care that much. Have you played the new God of War game? No, I haven't played any of them, and I especially wouldn't want to play that one, because first of all, I want to play them in somewhat order, and also, my understanding is that it wasn't even supposed to be a God of War game featuring Kratos. They just kind of shoehorned him in at the end, and you can kind of tell because everything about his character has just changed. And I don't like it when people do that. Especially because I've heard the reasons why they did that, and it's kind of icky. I'm not gonna talk about it because I've only like heard rumors. I haven't really looked into it that much because I don't really care about the game. But yeah, no. You a fan of Shadman? Yeah, I am. I like him because he is a good artist with what he does, and he also does such a wide variety of things that people give him shit like, he makes lollies and that's so gross, and he does like porn of real people, and it's so weird. But it's like, yeah, that's like 1% of what he does. That's the whole appeal. He does all kinds of things, some of which I'm into, some which I'm not. And I can just avoid the stuff I'm not into and just look at, oh, hey, this is good. I'll fap to this. So I like Shadman. I like him because he's like, usually when you have like porn artists, they have their niche. Like, this is the artist who draws Pokemon or whatever. I don't know. There's probably a bunch of those. I wouldn't know. And here's the artist that draws fantasy stuff, and here's the artist that draws pop culture, and here's the artist that draws footage, but he's just an artist who does basically everything. Like, he doesn't in his same general style, but it doesn't really seem like he shies away from anything. Like I've seen everything from like characters that exist to characters that don't exist to real people like fucking Donald Trump, fucking Hillary Clinton as a teenager. Like I just gotta kind of admire his range. Like even if I don't like all of his porn, I like some of it. But even if I didn't like any of it, I still have to admire just the wide variety of stuff he does. Do you hate YouTube Rewind like everyone else? It's like that's kind of a lame question because you just gave the answer right there. I mean, of course, it's not representative of YouTube. I haven't even watched it myself because why would I bother? I wouldn't want to give them the views for it. Instead, I would just watch someone else talking about it. Like, you know, I hate everything. He always does those now. And that was what I expected. Bunch of celebrities, no real YouTubers. If there are YouTubers, it's like the most streamlined and clean ones that nobody cares about. But I did watch PewDiePie's Rewind. I never watched anything by PewDiePie. I don't really like his content. But I kind of still... I'm not sure what to feel about him as a person. He seems like kind of someone who is... He's clearly not entirely clean because YouTube doesn't like him anymore for that kind of stuff he did. But I also don't think he's quite like, you know, engaged enough, like quite smart enough to really do much with it. He still just kind of does his own little lol content. But that's YouTube Rewind. I gotta say, at least I recognize most of it, and they capture some of the important events that happened during the year, like, you know, Logan Paul doing his suicide stunt or whatever. That was a big deal for a while that people cared about, except me. Or yeah, I don't know. I point to recognize most of what was going on in that Rewind, and that's kind of that kind of tells me that he is better at representing what YouTube is than they are. Which doesn't really surprise me because YouTube doesn't want YouTube to be YouTube. They want it to be like YouTube TV or whatever, which is such a retarded fucking concept because TV is a dying concept and YouTube is the fresh new thing that everyone likes. Or well, liked. People aren't liking it as much anymore because they're destroying themselves. What are your thoughts on the storytime animation community? I don't know. I don't really know what I think about the community. I didn't know they had one, but I guess everything does now. Like, I watched some of those, but I eventually just kind of run out of interest as they run out of stories. And some of them I just stop because if there's one thing that offends me, it's inoffensiveness. And most of them are just so inoffensive. Like, oh, I can't say bad words, and I also gotta be happy all the time. And the whole point of those to me is that they're just made by one person just kind of telling their stories, and it's a bit of just a small production or whatever. And I usually find myself stop watching them when they start to just get a team of animators to do their animation for them, and just stops feeling small and more starts to feel like a product. So I just kind of I'm one of those people who actually like it when it's more rugged and just like low what's it called? Like low quality. Like Jaden Animation is an example. I like her first video. I subscribed to her because of that one actually. Like just the whole hey welcome to my channel thing. But now I'm subscribed to her because her videos are just so meh. I feel like every single second I look at it, I'm looking at someone else's work with her talking just kind of laid on top of it, and I just can't watch that kind of thing. It feels so artificial. So I don't know if they're genuine and they have good stories to tell. I like that, but it's not really something I look for. It's just kind of something that I come across, and if I like it, I like it. What would one dislike do? Give an extra dislike. Well, that's true. As a person that can't sleep, do you have tips on how to sleep? You don't want to ask me for a fucking advice on that. As I said at the beginning of the stream, I got up at 7 in the evening today, and I'm currently up, and it's currently my bedtime, but I'm not gonna go to sleep for a few hours more. Guys, if it doesn't read his questions, then it might not be much interesting. Yes, either that, or I'm just like not reading them in favor of something else. But let's see, we're kind of. Do you like or hate Fortnite? I've already answered that. I don't care. I don't know anything about Fortnite other than that people hate it and it's popular, and that's like there are so many trends like that, so I don't really care about this one trend. Do you watch anime? Sometimes. I don't really watch it specifically, like go out of my way to watch anime, and I also don't go out of my way not to watch it. It's just like, oh, here's a work of fiction that I might enjoy, I'm gonna watch it, and then it doesn't really matter if it's anime or not, I just watch it. Yeah. I'll probably just try to keep this under an hour, but I'm not sure how much longer I would keep it up for. What do you do beside YouTube? I do a couple of things. I do a bit of writing sometimes. Sometimes I try to work on a book that I never finish. Sometimes I try to just write a little piece just to write, and sometimes I write something else. And I also try to make games, as you've seen in some of my videos. I haven't done that in quite a while now, but it's something I like to do when I'm able to. I'm also getting into modeling, like not the posing thing, but like the 3D modeling kind of thing. And it's fun, it's relaxing to just be doing. So I just, something I'm trying to get better at, mostly for the sake of games, like so that I can put models in the games. Not really something I would like to do to animate a game, because I don't find myself that I'm very much into animating anymore. It's fun to do for games, but not really beyond that. Hey, best YouTuber. I mean, that's subjective, so I guess I can't say you're wrong, but yeah, okay. I guess I'm the best to someone. It's 23:23. Well, when you posted this, then it probably was. I guess you know my time zone, you creep. Or you just live in my time zone, which is less creepy, I guess. What do you think of my drawing that I've done for Chaos Man? Yeah, I guess it was decently drawn. I don't really know. I'm bad at judging people's art, because I kind of need to take into account their skill level and everything, and also like what's expected of them. Like if a kid walks up to me with a shitty ass drawing because they're 3 years old, what am I gonna say to that? Like sure, I could criticize it at the very end, like oh, there's other perspective and the color scheme is off and whatever, but there's 3. But yeah, I try to be harsh, but I don't know. I can't really think of anything that stood out to me as bad. It was just, I don't know. I'm bad at talking about art. It's not really my forte, like, you know, specifically drawings. Like, I have 2 artist friends, and mostly what I say to them when they post their art is like, oh, that's good, I guess. Sometimes I have 1 or 2 criticisms or 1 or 2 things to point out, but I'm not very good at that kind of thing. What do you think about the new Star Wars films? Which ones? Just all of them, or anyone in particular? Because I didn't mind Force Awakens. That one was decent enough, even though it did do a lot of repetition, as has been pointed out 1,000 times. But, yeah, Last Jedi was fucking insulting. Rogue One was kind of boring, except for a few scenes. I haven't seen Solo because who the fuck watched Solo? And I have no interest in watching any others. Like, they're obsessed with this one fucking trilogy. They're not doing anything interesting with this, at this point, pretty big Star Wars universe. And I wasn't even really into Star Wars to begin with. Like, I kind of watched it, but I didn't really... I'm not a Star Wars fan by any means. I don't really care to begin with, but even I can kind of feel the ire of the Star Wars fans at this point, because Disney are handling it horribly. What can I do with your country location? I don't know. If you have the opportunity to nuke a country, you could nuke me, but I don't know. It's not like I'm very secretive about where I'm from. What are your thoughts on the current Minecraft YouTubers compared to the old ones and the quality of the content? I don't know, because I don't watch Minecraft YouTubers anymore. But I will say that I kind of prefer when Minecraft was more of an underground thing, because it just had more charm back then. Like just kind of this flawed one-man project that some people had found out about, and it was just kind of interesting to them, and they had their own little thing. But then it went mainstream, and like everything mainstream, normies ruined it. And like the game itself still exists, and I still enjoy that, but I don't enjoy what it's become. Like Microsoft turned it into a fucking normie game, to use a pretty hipstery term. But yeah, I still play older versions still sometimes. But yeah, I hate going back to the new ones. They're bad. They don't know what made Minecraft good. They just kind of know what the current fan base wants and just give them that, which is not what makes a good game. I'll try to catch up now. YouTube, please. Let me scroll through the chat without just snapping to the very bottom of it. You fucking retard. You should see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. The animation is amazing. Yeah, I hear that one's amazing. But I'm also suffering from major superhero fatigue, so I'm probably not gonna do it. Or at least wait until there's high quality streaming outside, because I don't want to give money to Sony. I hate Sony. I hate most of the big corporations, really. So just kind of, it's not like my money is gonna make any difference, but just gives me all the more reason not to give it to them. Am I allowed to say that on YouTube? Am I allowed to say that I'm gonna be pirating things? Whatever. Maybe I'm lying. Yeah, now I'm covering myself up. Yeah, I was just joking, YouTube. I'm not actually a pirate. I think it's fine. I don't really think anyone cares enough about this one stream to do anything with it. Unless it's one single asshole who decides to fucking give me a flag for this. But if you do, I'm gonna fucking ban your ass. The question wasn't about you, Will. Yeah, it's hard to tell because not really a... it's not really an answer feature like there is in Twitch. Twitch overall is better for streaming, but I'm not a streamer still, so I'm not gonna be there. And Twitch has problems of its own. Like, I think Will lives in a land where people speak English, am I right? Well, people do speak English here, but it's not their first language. I live in Sweden. But I guess that means I don't have an accent according to you, but... I don't know. People say I have an accent sometimes, and they differ greatly on what kind of accent I have, like what it sounds like. I'm still not sure what accent I have. Yeah, Quadcraft was interesting for a couple hours. Yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like, it's kind of fun to visit and just see the handful of good improvements, and then it's just like, okay, that's done. I'm gonna stop playing now and go back to the actually fun game. Because like for each good addition, they add at least 2 shitty ones. Like, oh look, there are fucking shipwrecks now. That's kind of cool, you know, adding a bit of more stuff to the ocean. Oh, and there are also underwater zombies. That's fun, except it's stupid. Out of all the hostile underwater mobs you could have added, you added zombies again? Okay. Fuck you. Do you have life goals? Well, I mean, everyone does. Most of them are fantasies and just wishy-washy dreams, but... I don't know, I do have them. It's most of what I have. What's your favorite adult game? I have an answer for that, but I can't recall it right now. I'll get back to you on that one. Have you seen Infinity War? No. Again, I have a major superhero fatigue. There's just too many other fucking movies. They're too samey. I don't care. Like, I thought it was exciting to see them at first, but then at one point they just become so fabricated, like, you know, so like manufactured, so much of a product rather than an enjoyable experience. And I kind of want to see Infinity War because it's supposed to be slightly different, but it's also a movie that you have to have seen all the other ones, or else you won't really enjoy it that much because it's just a bunch of characters you've already seen fighting. And yeah, I'm not gonna enjoy that because I haven't seen most of the characters. I haven't seen Guardians of the Galaxy, I haven't seen all the Thor movies, I haven't seen Black Panther or Spider-Man Homecoming or in fucking Civil War. There's so many of them. I hate them. Well, I don't hate them, but I hate the trend of them. So yeah, they keep doing this thing, and I just am not on the bandwagon because it's just so exhausting to me. There's too many. And even when I find one I like, I can't even watch it because I'm supposed to have watched all the other ones. It's fucking retarded. Opinion on Article 13. Like, is there anything to be said there? Is there anything that I can add to that debate? It sucks. That's really it. It's like retarded. There's a bunch of old fucks who don't understand the internet and a bunch of corporate fucks who want to restrict the internet purposely. It's not much else to it. It's stupid and it shouldn't exist, but it's probably gonna eventually. You never know. Are you in a relationship? Eventually. No, that's not the word. Fuck, I'm tired. I used to be, but not anymore. At least not a relationship that is, you know, dating or whatever. That was a mutual thing. I talked about it before. We were just kind of like, hey, you know this thing we're doing? I don't really think it's working anymore. Yeah, I feel the same. Let's just stop it, but still be friends. And we're still doing that. Let's see. Yeah, the question about my favorite adult game. I feel like there's one that I return to more than others. but I can't think of which one it is. I think it's... Yeah, no, it's a hard question. I don't actually know which one it is. There aren't a lot of good adult games out there, honestly. Like, because of how prudish we are about porn games and how hard it is to sell porn in general, let alone games. It is not worth the effort and resources to create them. So they're so just... When they exist, they're just kind of poorly made or just really... Yeah, there are very few good porn games because it's just not a mainstream market. It's not something that can exist and just be sold in stores, which is fucking stupid. We're such a fucking retarded species. Just, oh no, pee-pees and poontangs. We can't have that in a game. That's gross. We can't even have it on the market with an age restriction because what if a child sees the box art and goes through puberty too early? Oh, fucking stupid. My internet crashes. My previous comment rolled by. Did you see them? Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe your previous comments aren't mine. I mean, I can see your last comment, but maybe that's not the last one. Let's post it again, I guess. I'm probably gonna wrap this up soon because my throat is getting real bad. And there it goes. I'll wait a little though so that Dragon Skull can post whatever he was saying. And every child sees stuff when too young. I don't think that it will make a difference. Like, I think it will make a difference, but I think that we're not really looking at what difference it makes. We just kind of go by the assumption that, oh, watching sex will traumatize them. I don't think that's the standard. I think that it depends on the child and the circumstances and whatever. Like, it's gonna be different if they like walk in on two strangers humping, or if they walk in on their parents, or if they walk in on two strangers getting raped or whatever. It's gonna matter. Like, context matters all the time, and also the age, and again, what the child is about. Maybe they've been watching horror movies from a young age, and they're fine with that. Like, children can deal with more than we think they can, and they also deal with things differently. Like, I was honestly a bit of a pussy as a child, and there were other children around me who were not, who would laugh at me when I would get scared, and they could have handled stuff that I couldn't handle. That's just how it goes. It's just, people are different. And people are also way too protective as kids, and they think that they can't even deal with this kind of stuff. Like, one thing that the kids can deal with, I just know it, is nudity. Because they've seen it. They've seen themselves in the mirror, they've seen their parents, and they've seen their siblings, and they've seen just people in public showers and whatever. It's like the whole thing with like, oh no, we can't show nipples because think of the children. The children don't care, the adults care. The children are the fucking ones who can handle it. The adults are the prude ones. They're the childish ones. So that's for sure. I think there's a fucking... I think there's a discussion to be had about how far you can go with it. But it's a discussion that should be had because it's not being had. Let's see. I saw Decapitation at 6. I was pretty young when I saw like cartoon violence because, you know, when you're at that age you want to get into some... No, I don't think it was 6. I think it was 7 or 8 or something when I started to get into flash games with like chainsaws and whatever, and you started to get into like the bloody games. And of course I could handle it. Didn't really fuck me up or anything. Like, I'm kind of fucked up now, I would say, but I still don't really mind. I just think I'm not really like, looking back at that, I wouldn't want to change it. I like the kind of person I am, and I guess I probably would like the kind of person I am if I went differently and was a lot more clean, but I don't know. I like a bit of... I like being able to handle this kind of stuff, because maybe then, at present time, I would still think that's icky. And I kind of prefer not caring as opposed to, like, getting a negative reaction from something. Like, I'm not really sure how far I would get to it. Like, it's kind of like the question of, hey, if you could be into scat, would you? Because then poop wouldn't be gross anymore. But then the question is, do I really want that? And I'm not sure, honestly. I would go a bit further. Like, there are things that I'm afraid of that I don't want to be afraid of. There are things that I find gross that I don't want to find gross. And I just think that it's overall better to just be more resistant to it as opposed to just not being confronted with it. The whole thing with not weaker blows but thicker skin. So anyway. I'm almost done with the first comic, but yeah. Yeah, I think I saw that. Or did I? I don't really know what to comment on that whole thing. Like, you know, you do your thing, and I guess if you send it to me, I might read it. I don't know if I'll have much thoughts on it, but I think I ought to, because I'm in it, but yeah, I don't know. kind of get into this spot when I get fan art or anything like that, where I just feel inclined to say something about it, and if I don't have something to say about it, I just get kind of anxious. I don't know. I like being in the spotlight, but I also don't. I like the attention, but I also get anxious from it. I think the problem in society is that parents don't know how to handle such a situation. I mean, that's just kind of something you can trace back in general. Like, you can't blame too many ills of society on children because it's still forming as people. It's the adults who have already like established themselves as people and are just going about things and as they have learned them. And I would say that they have arguably learned the wrong things. America shows everything in porn, but not lollies. Japan has everything but can't show people tacos. Yeah, we all have our retarded rules, no matter where we are in the world. And it kind of just goes to show further, like how it doesn't matter. Like if one country has one rule that the other doesn't, then why are they both fine? Shouldn't the country that doesn't have the rule or does have the rule just like be doing worse? It's almost as if it doesn't fucking matter, and we should just allow it because allowing something allows more creative freedom than not allowing it. I'm very much of a chaotic person. Like, I believe in more freedom and less like restrictions, no matter what it is. Maybe to a fault, I'm not sure. I still believe in some regulations, but like stuff like creative expression, I'm very, very pro-liberty on. Like, I think that copyright laws are way too restrictive. I think that we should be able to make Mickey Mouse cartoons, even though we're not Disney, because it's such an old fucking character. Like, how long can you copyright an idea? Like, it really comes down to me just kind of like DeviantArt dwellers just kind of whining about, oh no, people are using my OC. Like, that's what it is when people are portraying Spider-Man or whatever without permission. It's just the same fucking thing. Like, yeah, if your character is a profitable thing and not how you portray them, then you shouldn't have the loan right to them because you're not even doing them that well. It's kind of like with me and Monster School. Like, people are ripping off the idea, then apparently not doing it as successfully as I am, but they're doing it, and while I don't like it, that's kind of my idea of creative expression. Like, they should be allowed to. I shouldn't be able to copyright the idea of it. And if I'm doing it worse, then that's on me. But yeah. Oh, fuck my throat. I gotta finish the chat though. I'd like to do this until the chat starts to die down. Let's see. I walk down the street and see a table with $10 and there's a paper next to it that says the first person who sees this gets the money and you take the $10 and you put it down. Okay, yeah, that's a response to something else. Are you a sociopath? Smile. I don't know. I'm possibly one, either a sociopath or a psychopath or something like that. Maybe I have autism or something. I don't know. I haven't diagnosed myself with it because self-diagnosis is usually not a good idea. I don't really trust a psychologist too, and I don't really care either. Like, I feel like it would just kind of demystify to be able to trace my personality quirks to some specific disorder. I just like to think of myself more of as a just a wonky person. Like, oh, look at Will, he's so strange and unusual, and nobody really knows why. Like, if I know why, that's just boring to me. I don't really see what it will benefit me. It's just another label to put on myself, and I don't really like labels. Copyright is gonna expire soon. Copyright, you mean? Yeah, I heard something about that, but it's not like the copyright, like in general. It's more like a bunch of properties that have been copyrighted for way too long are finally gonna expire. But it's gonna persist. It's just gonna have a moment of loosening for some properties, but not. I don't think any rules are gonna change unless there's something that I haven't heard about. But yeah. Do you have OCD? Same thing. I don't know. I haven't looked it up, and I don't think I do. I don't really have any quirks that I do obsessively. I don't really think I have any symptoms associated with OCD, so I would say probably not. I never know for sure until I check, but like it's kind of like how I never know for sure if I currently I can't think of an example. I'm too fucking tired. I gotta read more. Where did you get the idea for a gas mask on a top hat? I got it out of nowhere. I just kind of thought one day, hey, I should have a YouTube persona. What should it be like? Well, I should put on a top hat and a mask because that's funny, right? I mean, I kind of like masks to begin with, I think, so that's kind of where it came from, and I like to dress dapperly. So I guess that's the trace back, like my combination of passion for fancy, snazzy clothing and my passion for masks, just kind of coming into one. Are you still passionate about making games and videos because I might know a way to help? Well, I'll do Tim other way because I mean I still like making games a lot. Videos depends on what they are. I like speaking my mind, of course. But yeah. So I guess the answer is yes. That was a joke, but fair enough. It's hard to tell when something's a joke when it's in stream and probably out of context too, because I don't know what you're talking about in chat and I don't know what you're responding to if you're responding to something because of the delay. Everyone says to Will to make Moscow should commit anti-life. No, I don't think so. Like, I'm very, very harsh with the whole death thing. Like, I don't think that Hitler should have been killed even. Like, I think that there's always a chance for someone to redeem themselves, and especially with people who are complaining about Moscow, they're kids. Usually, like, they're gonna look back at that and be like, oh, well, that was annoying of me to bother that person when he explicitly said not to do it. So yeah, that's unfair. There are way worse crimes where I would still have the same opinion of just no, don't kill them, just help them improve as people. I guess that's like one part where I'm less of a cynic, I guess, and I'm actually kind of an optimist, like always believing that people can change for the better. What are your thoughts on the state of TV? I don't know, I don't really keep track of it. I think it's a dying medium. I think that's a good thing because it's a retarded concept. Like, hey, here's stuff you can watch, but you don't get to decide when you watch it or what you watch. Like, the way we do it now is so much more convenient, and I would like to see that evolve more because I don't think that Netflix or whatever is doing it right. I don't think that those services are ideal. But yeah. We'll see where that goes eventually. Can't you speak some Swedish? We'll see. I wanna keep on reading because I'm still behind it. It's unusually active today. I gotta remind myself that this is a good time to stream apparently because a lot of people are here. No one like Mod School anymore. Well, some people obviously do. They still get views and comments on the daily. What makes a good waifu? Depends on what you're into. It's kind of the same as what makes a good partner according to you, which varies a lot. Oh, your Dragon Skull is trying to like recommend me some publications thing or whatever. No, it's not really for me. Like, I don't really like taking help from people, and especially not that kind of thing. Like, if my problem is more one of just lack of motivation because of my depression. I could do it on my own if I was able to, but I'm not really able, so I'm just gonna keep pushing until I pull through with it, basically. Bye, my Swedish neighbor. Yeah, bye. And Sweden and Germany are not adjacent to each other. Like, they're pretty far away. Unless you consider just all of Europe to be a neighborhood, of course. How was your New Year, Will? It was decent. I spent it with my friends in a Skype call that lasted throughout New Year, and that was fun. Talked about a bunch of stuff, as we do when you're friends. Stalin did worse than Hitler, even Hitler was scared of him. I think it's debatable, like, you know, who caused more suffering, who killed more people, who was worse as a person and whatever. I mean, Hitler is like the go-to example, and Stalin is kind of just forgotten because he didn't have a Holocaust, he just had a similar thing. But yeah, still goes with Stalin. I wouldn't want Stalin to die either. I would like to see him repent, even if it takes him all his life. I'm more of a person who's like, don't kill them, just lock them up where they can't harm anyone and just see if they improve, see if you can convince them to be better people. Like, you know, I believe in forgiving people if they actually repent properly and they actually regret what they did. I don't think that they have to like compensate for what they did, because how the fuck do you compensate for a Holocaust? Like, do you like save 1 million lives? That's not even enough. I think it's more of a mindset thing. Like, if you genuinely regret what you did and you're genuinely a good person, or you know what people consider a good person, then forgive them. Just give them a chance. So yeah, again, I'm pretty nice in just specifically that regard. I would probably say nicer than most people. It kind of disgusts me when people are like laughing at people who are sentenced to death for something they did. Like, ha ha ha, look at them. Oh, if you can't do the time, then don't do the crime. Yeah, fuck you. I hope you are accused of a crime and you die. Well, don't, because then you don't learn something. But like, I hope you're accused of a murder or a crime or something that you didn't do, and you just had time to freak out about it. That you're sentenced to death. But then as you're in the chair and they turn it on, it's just a bunch of confetti. Like, haha, psych, you're not actually gonna die. It was just a very morbid lesson to get you to stop being such a vulture. You watch hentai, so what's your favorite? Hentai same as anime for me. I just kind of watch it when I watch porn and I find some good. I don't really look for it specifically on most days, except when I really feel like something special. Like, no, not something specific. Like what kind of mood I'm in. Like, oh, I'm in the mood for something animated, which happens every once in a while. But I don't really have a favorite kind of hentai. It's just kind of something that I watch if I do. Don't have to have more than one waifu or they'll ruin your waifu. Do your friends and family know you have depression? Yeah, of course they do. It's hard to hide. My family aren't really doing much about it though. They're kind of... I don't really like them. And they're not very good at helping. Even when they try, and I don't really think they're trying. Whatever. My friends are a great help though. I really am appreciative to have them here. And if they watch it, even though they usually don't watch it because it's so long and they just kind of know what I've been talking about, then yeah. Hi friends, I guess. I love you guys. Anyway, I just thought I'd help because the reason I featured you in the story. Yeah, thanks Dragon Skull. Like, you know, we all help in our own ways. I appreciate that. It's past my bedtime. Goodbye, comrade. Yeah, goodbye. Surprisingly, there's not that much good lesbian hentai. One thing that I never found anything in terms of hentai is POV hentai. Like, you know, like first person perspective. I found like 2 of them or something. And then there are a handful more that cuts out of the POV every once in a while, which is just immersion breaking. Like, you would think that something that's animated, where you don't have to have a GoPro on your head, but you can just kind of animate it like that, you would think that would be more frequent. But no, apparently people don't like seeing themselves in the perspective of the guy who's having sex or the girl who's having sex, which I think is kind of lame because I don't like watching other people be fucking. POV is my favorite thing because like imagining myself to be part of the act. Especially in something like anime where the guy is so often a total wimp or total retard or something like that. So yeah, we need more POV porn, guys. Get on it. And have some freaking have some for the ladies too. Have some fucking POV of dicks getting sucked and whatever. There's some out there, but it's not enough. How I know that, you don't need to know. Except, yeah, whatever. Boy, have you played Dark Souls 3 yet? I have not. I'm still just kind of burned out on the idea of doing so after playing some of Dark Souls 2 and it was just bad. I hated it. I hated some mechanics they had changed. So yeah, I just didn't pick it up because I kind of feel like I have to play them in order, but I'm not gonna play 2, so I just have to play... Like, I'm bad at starting playing games. Once I actually start playing them, I have a hard time not playing them, but just committing to just that first play session is really hard for me because of my depression, I noticed. So there are several games in my library that I haven't even installed yet because I want to play them, but I never feel like it. I like POV hentai, but I don't talk. Yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, I don't really mind the whole... Like, it's kind of creepy, but I don't really mind the whole Dora thing where, like, the characters talk, but you don't talk back. Instead, they just give you a moment to respond in your mind. But, like, it kind of ruins the point where there's a... When like, the POV is speaking, and they're saying things that you don't want to say. Like, no, fuck that shit. That kind of ruins the whole point of imagining that it's you in there. Goodbye, my man. Another one bites the dust. Oh, and Cross is in the chat now. Hello, Cross. Generic fangirl, you. Any recommendations for me to feature for you in Chaos, man? Nah, just kind of do it your own way. I don't really know anything about it, so I trust you to do what you think is right. Boy, you do me a disappoint. Yeah, no, there are several games that I really want to get around to that I just don't. And I told myself I should play Dark Souls 3 before it gets irrelevant so that I can fucking play the PvP for once. Because I tried to play PvP in the original Dark Souls and there was just nobody there. Nobody was playing it anymore. I was like at the location where everyone should be, but I just waited and waited and nobody wanted to play with me. It was it made me sad. So I gotta get around to 3 so I can maybe play a match against someone else for once. I would chat more, but I'm working on drawing, sorry. Well, that's okay. You should prioritize art over my ramblings. I'm probably wrapping it up soon too. Oh, we're only down to 9 viewers. This might be a good time to end, actually. I'll give it another arbitrary minute and then I'll round it off here. So let's see here. I still want to know why the fucking icon is getting squished. Like, YouTube, why? What are you doing with my aspect ratio? I'm looking at an OBS and it's set to what you should be setting it to. And now the chat is just gone. No, there it is. Hello. Dark Souls 3 is alive and well, and after 2 years and some well, but yeah, doing get on it. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get on it. I just hope there aren't too many references to 2 because I'm not gonna get any of them. I know there are some references to 1 because I've had spoilers. But yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna miss out on something because I haven't played 2. Because I know that many people don't consider it canon, but the fucking game still does. Thanks, one last thing, are you okay with you being killed off in the first season or not? I mean, again, I don't care either way. If you wanna kill me, then do that. If you don't wanna kill me, then do that. Whatever fits the story best. I'm not gonna give myself plot armor just because I like me. I guess I can turn on my other 10 devices for you to stay. Nah. I mean, I kinda wanna run it off anyway, so I don't really think that more viewers is gonna change anything now. Do you have a Discord server? No I don't. Not for like YouTube stuff. I have one for private use. But yeah, nothing I would invite anyone here onto because it's for personal things. Well, I gotta go now. Okay, Godzilla, bye. So yeah. Yeah, I might make a Discord at some point when my channel is back on track, but I don't know if it ever will be. I might just be doing fucking languishing in obscurity for the rest of my YouTube career. So, yeah. Daddy again. Yeah, goodbye son, or whatever. I feel like daddy or mommy is something you can call your dom, but you don't really say the opposite to your sub. I don't know. In all my porn and kink exploration, I haven't really found anything like that. I had to look up. I think boy and girl are more commonly used. Like, yeah, good boy. But whatever. What is up with people calling you daddy? I don't know. I think it's just a YouTube thing where like the uploader becomes everybody's dad. It's something I see on different channels. Which, I mean, it's a small perk, I guess. Just a little something. But yeah. I ought to round this off now. I have an unread notification. And it's a comment on Monster School because of course it is. It's always what it is. Yeah. Even when I haven't been doing it for years and years, it's still the most activity I get anywhere. I guess I gotta compliment myself for making something with staying power. Even if I don't like it. But yeah, it's slowed down now, so I'm just gonna start rounding it off here. I guess heal your heart scars from depression. Okay, bye, good luck studying, I suppose. Okay. So we're gonna cut this short now. And next time, maybe I will have figured out how to make YouTube not squish my icon and make me look all tubby. How long do you gonna do the stream for? I'm gonna stop it now, actually. And next week I will hopefully make a video that ties into the last video, which I was gonna make in December, but I'm not doing it anymore because it's not December anymore, but you know, that's how it is with my channel now. I do things late, it's just deal with it. I said that to myself most of all because I have a hard time dealing with it. Anyway, that is it for this time. See you next week when I hopefully do a proper video and not one of these things. And goodbye. And Happy New Year, I suppose.